this was filmed before this video started. This is just your daily reminder that just because a video card is bigger does not mean it's better. Anyway, let's get on with the video. Today we find ourselves on my apprentice's desk that is normally messy as hell, but it's not today. So we've got a video card upgrade to do. I had planned to get her in on this and help her do the upgrade, but she's procrastinating a bit. Her priorities are elsewhere, as they usually are when you're 10 years old. So this is a gigabyte card. I don't recall exactly what this one was off memory. It's certainly better than what she's got in there at the moment. I think it's an AG8742G, but yeah, it's got a little bit more RAM, a little bit more performance than what's already in there. Here we go. It's a GV R5850C 1GD. So we're going to swap these cards over and then put some drivers on. Now, her previous machine was a Dell T5400 dual CPU with 2 Xeons in it. Did alright. We had 24 gig of RAM. This one's got 32. Let's pop this open. At some point in history, machines all started opening on the left hand side, as opposed to all the cases I'm used to that open on the right hand side. So we've become accustomed to putting things on this side. All the desks are set up that way, and it's not the way the world works anymore, unfortunately. Alright, we have our case open. I need to find we need to disconnect power here. There's our power. Wait for our RAM light over here to turn off. There we go. Okay, then we need to undo a screw. Oh, we need to undo the video connections too. 2 DVI slots. This will be interesting. I'll probably mess up her desktop layout. She can deal with it. She does that on a daily basis. So there is 1 DVI port. 2 DVI. Now that reminds me. Yes, this card has dual DVI. That's good. Right, the clamp just pops up and out of the way. Now we need to pull our little lever up in the back of the card and pull. There we go. And there is also this support bracket, which I think I like. See if we can see this here. There is a support bracket here, and that stops the card from flapping up and down, which with some of the bigger cards is definitely a must. Okay. Okay, now we have a power connector here we need to pull out, and we just carefully maneuver things, because when you're trying to go quick with computers, that's when you break stuff. Okay, the issue we appear to be facing is that the gap for these cover plates in here is very narrow in there. It's got to go in just at a fairly specific angle. Let's see if we can give this the gentle bend just a little bit more. So I decided to turn things on its side, and this might be our culprit here. This is just the design to make sure that there is actually electrical contact between the back plate, and I think that is actually occupying some space in those slots there, which now I can see clearly. And this is probably more the designed way of installing this card anyhow. Okay, so I've actually straightened these out a little bit with a pair of pliers, because I believe that might fix the problem. If I didn't, I probably wouldn't have done that, which that would make it a bit of an obvious thing to do. The next question is, can we get everything to cooperate now? Tight quarters. That's dropped into the slots nicely. There we go. We actually needed to straighten them out. Now, that has clipped into the port nicely. Okay, so we take our little lock plate here. It's interesting all the solutions that manufacturers have come up with for these sort of retaining brackets. This should be one of the standard size 3mm screws, 3mm metric course. Alright. Now, for the record, we did remove our auxiliary SATA cable because it was in the way. We might plug that back in later. Now, these appear to be a P7 and a P8 plug. These were what were plugged into it. These are keyed. I hope they're correct. There are situations where these can plug into a video card and they're not correct. So use these with caution and do your homework. Although this is an old enough card but I believe that's not an issue. I want to hold this card when I push down so I don't break stuff. There we go. Alright, so for record, I did put those two cover plates back in, although they are vented anyway, so not really the most important thing to have in there. Now we may need to switch these around, so I won't screw them up yet. And we're not going to put the case sides on until we see that it works. It's kind of jinxing yourself doing that. Alright, let's see, there's a power button on the top here somewhere. Let's see if we get a picture. We have fans moving, that's a good sign. There's some power getting to it. No picture as yet. I see that has responded, okay. Which one's going to be the primary? We want this one as the primary. So that's the primary at the moment. We will do a switcheroo for them in a second. Alright, we've done the switcheroo around and we've screwed the connections up, which has stabilised the picture. We've got to see what's going on in here. Alright, so the desktop hasn't messed up too much, although it is set up in clone. We'll set that up in span, which is how she wanted it, and we'll go from there. In any case, this is, while it's only a 1GB card, it has DDR5 RAM, which is considerably faster than what we had beforehand. We are running an i7-4790 in this at 3.6 GHz with 32 GB RAM and a core clock of 765 MHz. We're doing pretty well. Let's have a look at the system specs because people will ask. Has 8 threads. We're doing pretty well. Looks kind of nice. Our memory is 1.6 GHz. That's alright. And little SSD is not doing too bad right at the moment. And these are all card readers. So, nice little system. Seems to be working alright. We'll do a little bench test in a minute. And otherwise, I think we'll be happy. Did notice one little problem here. Move the mouse and the mouse comes in off that screen. We need to do one little tricky bit here for a minute. We need to do all this and we need to go display settings and we need to go and plonk you down here. What's the 1 doing over there? I don't know what that's doing. Yep, 2 and 3. Okay, that looks better. So now our cursor should run across this side of the screen. That's much better. Okay, we're looking good. And it's going to sit up a little bit because it's on the heat pipes. I actually think we're going to omit that because we probably won't get the case sides on with that in there. So I guess we leave that bit out. So we've just decided we're going to put the R9 back in because I actually did some homework. The R9's a better card. It's also got 2 GB of RAM. So we're going to do the switcheroo, put it back in again. Sometimes I spend all day doing stuff like this and it's counterproductive. This is one of these cases, I think. Yes, we'll put the old one back in. We'll correct the drivers, make sure they're okay. But the task to determine which card was better was left to my apprentice to do some homework. So clearly she didn't, and if I didn't check her work after the fact, we probably would have ended up getting ripped off through her own poor homework. So I will point this out to her later on. Lesson learnt. Let's put it all back together. We'll go back to what it was. We might find a better card than this later. In any case, this can go into my workshop machine, which I'm not unhappy about. Okay, so it definitely was a better video card, being 2 GB RAM and a whole bunch of other things, and it's still DDR5. Software problems we'll figure out later. Anyway, now you know how to change a video card. See you all later.